What is up, Ravens Flock? Huge shout out for your support for the 410 Sports Talk. Chance and Glenn are the best in the business. They're killing it right now. They love talking Raven talk. Make sure you go subscribe to their channel. Let's go Ravens. Big trust.
Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of 410 Sports Talk. James Haskell, Glenn Martin. Pretty sure you guys know us by now, but if you don't, nice to meet you. Welcome into the 10th and final installment of our training camp in-depth position group analysis for the Baltimore Ravens coming up with, training camp has officially started today, but we're looking forward to it. In this position group, in this video, as you guessed by the title, we're going to be talking about inside linebacker. That's right, inside linebacker. Always a topic of conversation here in Baltimore and something we're going to be looking into with a fine-tooth comb. So, Glenn, I figured the best place to probably start here is with the guys that are on the roster listed under that position, and then we'll talk about our projected locks, our bubble guys, and what to look out for in camp.
All right, let's do it. So, first and foremost, we'll start with the vet, the old school linebacker, Josh Bynes, still here, back for, I think they said that he signed 6 separate contracts or something crazy with the Ravens over his career. But Josh Bynes is back. Patrick Queen also still here. Malik Harrison looking to make a name. Christian Welch, Ataro Alaka, Zacoby McLean, Diego Fago, and Josh Ross is who I have listed in front of me. Unless you have a name that I'm missing, that's who I think is
good list. That's it. Good list, my friend.
And then, of course, Vince Beagle is a bit of a tweener. He's more of an inside or outside linebacker, so we'll mention his name as well. But those are the guys. And just to quickly give you what they typically do, it looks like, Jimbo, it's either 4 or 5 middle linebackers is how many the Ravens typically go for. So right now I see 4. I see 8 competing for 4 to 5 spots on this roster. So, Jimbo, who's the guaranteed stone cold locks?
Yeah, for sure. So, guaranteed stone cold locks. You got to start with PQ, Patrick Queen. You got to move over to Josh Bynes. And then after that, I mean, guaranteed stone cold lock. I don't know if you can put anyone else in that category at this point. You got a guy like Malik Harrison who's coming up on his 3rd year, and I know he was a 3rd round pick if I'm not mistaken, but I don't know if the Ravens have been overly impressed, or else they wouldn't continue to re-sign a guy like Josh Bynes. And the guys after, he's the only one that I would take as an argument for a guaranteed lock, unless I'm missing something outside of those two.
No, I think you're right. I think Christian Welch has a maybe a
very strong case, right? I mean, based on his special teams ability and stuff like that, and his tenure with the team, but he's not a lock.
No, he's got to win this job because there's a bunch of young guys behind him looking to make a name. Ataro Alaka, I probably put in the same camp as Christian Welch, but he's always been injured his whole career, and obviously they like him. There's something about it that they like, but if he can't stay healthy, then he's kind of in a tough position there. Malik Harrison is an interesting one because I think, to me, I'm still gonna put him on the lock in the lock category, but he's right on the fringe of it, and some of it. Look, I mean, I don't know how much of this was his own doing or how much of this was, wrong place, wrong time, but he did have the off-field incident where he was shot in the leg. I think that plays a part in the decision-making process. If you have 2 guys, Malik Harrison and just say Zacoby McLean, they're both playing their butts off. They're both kind of neck and neck. That off-field stuff does make a difference when they're making their decisions. So maybe that plays a role in it, or maybe that was just wrong place, wrong time, bad luck, and they move on from that. I'm not really sure of the details, but I just mentioned them. But I got a lot of people, and myself included, excited about what Zacoby McLean might be able to do. His guy was a tackling machine, and kind of surprised that he's in the position he's in as an undrafted rookie.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's going to be interesting as well, and I think it's also interesting that you're talking about him. What is it that has you most intrigued? Because I have another name for you.
What, about Zacoby?
Yeah.
Well, just because when he played for Auburn, the guy was absolutely everywhere. He was he just looks like a football player. I mean, he looks like a guy that, a lot of times we talk about Pat Queen, we talk about the want to. Like, it just doesn't always seem like he has the want to play the linebacker position, which you can be a little crazy to play linebacker. I mean, it's a collision position. Like every snap, you're having a massive collision, and you got to kind of like that. You kind of got to be into that. And Zakoby Mclean, while Patrick Queen doesn't always display that, Zakoby Mclean does, in my opinion. He just has a kind of tenacity, and I just like the way he attacks the ball. Now, he has some physical shortcomings, which is why he was an undrafted rookie. But, yeah, I like what I see out of him. Who you thinking about, Jimbo?
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking about as a surprise player, Josh Ross, the kid out of Michigan. Of course, he's got strong connections to our coaching staff, and being part of that hardball pedigree, and then of course, his new DC being his former DC at Michigan, and so he had to have been at least some part of that brain trust that was that dominant defense last year.
Yep.
And he's got good tape out there. So I'd be interested to see what this kid can do. You better believe it. He's going to be given plenty of opportunities, whether conscious or subconsciously. Humans have biases and preferences. And so he's going to be given plenty of opportunities because not only John, but of course, McDonald likes him as well. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens. And I want to see if this kid can turn out, because if anybody knows him, it's him. So everyone else passed up on him, but maybe the Ravens have found another diamond in the rough. Maybe another Josh Bynes.
Yeah. Maybe another Zach Orr. I mean, that's his position coach.
How many undrafted guys have been all pros? The list has got to be small, right?
And you're talking about one of them with Zach Orr.
It's incredible, man. So,
yeah. I mean, what a better guy to lead you as your position coach than a guy who's done it the exact way you're hoping to do it. So, go ahead, Jimbo.
I was going to say, but I got to ask you this, Glenn. Yeah. What do you need to see from Patrick Queen? Is there anything that he can do in preseason?
Heck no.
You know what I mean? Like,
nothing.
Okay, so what do you need to see from him then? Let's just briefly, I know this is position camp battles and stuff like that. What do you need to see from him this year?
Yeah, so I don't want to see any of the lost look. Like, I don't want to see him looking clueless in coverage. But the main thing that you expect from your linebacker is to be an absolute guaranteed tackle, right? Yeah. Like, he is a tackling machine. Say nothing else about my linebacker, he'll get your ball carrier to the ground. That's just what he does. So Patrick Queen's just got to become a more consistent tackler. I don't expect him to go out there and have 8 forced fumbles and do it, but I do expect him to lead the damn team in tackles. You know, your middle linebacker who gets all this clock should be an obvious and easy pick to be your team leader in tackles, and he hasn't been. You know, Chuck Clark should not supplant him as the leading tackler on this team, because there's just no excuse for Patrick Queen when you look at his athleticism, his physical ability, and the fact that now up to this season, he's had a ton of reps. So, you know, while he was young when he got here, he's not young anymore, Jimbo. I mean, he's still young in comparison to his peers, but he's played a lot of football for this Ravens team, hasn't missed a ton of time. So I want to see him a lot better in coverage, not looking clueless and lost like we've seen. And then the tackling has got to be better, Jimbo. The tackling is just I don't want to see him hanging on the back of someone, getting drugged down the field because I guess he's trying to strip him. I'm not even sure.
Yeah, that to me is job number one, right? I want to see, just like you said, just make the tackle, dude. You don't need to do anything spectacular. You don't need to save the world in one play. Just do your job, right? Simply make the tackle. So, sorry, I didn't want to go off on tangent too much there, but I was curious to get your thoughts, and they align pretty well with mine in that, like, just do your job, and be physical. Welcome. It's easy for us to say here welcome to physicality. We're not getting smashed in the face, but at the same time, look, Mike Tomlin says it. The standard is the standard, and when you're in Baltimore, the standard has been set.
Sorry, it's a high standard.
Yeah, and people can say what they want about CJ Mosley, but I'm pretty sure that if people had their choice, now I know he's been injured and kind of all over the place at this point, but I think people would, you know what I mean?
You're being realistic. Come on. We I heard a lot of fans bag on him when he was here, but
yeah, you're missing
a hell of a player.
He's a Velcro on his hands, man.
Oh yeah, when he got a hold of you, you were going down.
Yeah,
and he made some pretty big coverage plays. But my question, isn't like these guys probably didn't play a ton of special teams certainly not in their last years in their colleges. Don't they got to embrace that like crazy?
Yeah, have to. I mean, that's why Welch has such a leg up, right? Because he knows how much John values it and he knows how to get it done. So I think at the end of the day, you know, between Fagot, Ross, Mclean, let's see, even Alaka,
Ross,
and right, Ross. It's gonna be who makes the biggest impact on special teams. It's gonna be really interesting to see.
I think they go light here this year, Jimbo, because of Vince Beagle and his positional versatility. Now he's coming back from an injury too, so a lot of what I'm saying is the determining factor is he healthy enough to go?
Right.
But if he is, I look at what they've done. I think they go 4 again. I think they go 4 linebackers again, and that means that like you said, I think it's Josh Bynes, Patrick Queen, Malik Harrison, and even the Malik Harrison one. I wouldn't be completely stunned if somebody took his job. But right now, I'm putting him in the locks. But that means there's one spot open, and I think you're right, Christian Welch, man. Be ready. Be ready for a camp battle because McLean's coming for you. Ross is coming for you, Fagot's coming for you, and Alaka's coming for you. And really, it's one spot. It's like it's one spot, and all those guys are fighting for it. And so, yeah, I'm excited. But ultimately, if I had to give it to one, man, you made a good argument for Ross, Jimbo, and I don't like that.
You don't like when I make good arguments?
Man, see, I want to go McLean, but I just don't see it. But there is going to be, I think, an undrafted guy. So could that undrafted guy be in this position group? I'll say McLean right now, but honestly,
just because you don't want to agree with me.
Because I don't want to agree with you.
Yeah, that's all it is.
100% right.
You guys let us know what your thoughts are. Who's right here? It's okay if it's me. It's
Don't say it like that, like it's a foregone conclusion.
It's okay if it's me. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and we'll talk to you soon.